You're listening to The Middle Age Gamers from Dimension X.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to MAGDX, episode 10. We have a special guest here, Ryan, as well. And we also got this sexy author with all of his NOS gear trying to get promoted for NOS. Tristan Barr here. His book is coming out soon, 34 hours to go. The Video Game Collector's Field Guide, a 4-volume compendium packed with 2,400 pages of consoles, handhelds, tabletops, and checklists of thousands of games. Well, popular and that favorite word, rare. Available digital or hard copy. Currently, it has 38 hours to go, so if you want to get them in, you need to get them in now. Please support him. He is currently at $14,353. You don't have to buy all the books. You can pick whatever one you want. Abar will go over the ones that he has and also introduce our guests. How you doing, Abar?
I'm doing great. I'm actually really looking forward to this week because we have a special guest, obviously, and Ryan Barrett, this guy up in the corner. We've been wanting to talk to him on our podcast for a while. We've been talking about it for a while anyway. So we finally have him on, and what better time to do it than a season finale? Well, you know, we're calling our 10th season finale. Whatever. Regardless, yeah, he said that my book is in its final hours. That is correct. This is the last time, the only time that you have an opportunity to get my books at a discount. So if you think they're expensive now, just wait until after the Kickstarter. So go to the Kickstarter, just check it out. Like he was saying, if you don't want all 4 books, I allow you to buy 1, 2, 3, or 4. So whatever you want. If you're a Nintendo collector, there's a Nintendo book. If you're only a Sega collector, those are in one book. If you only want all of the lists, that's in one book. So I made it pretty user-friendly. Next, I want to introduce, like I was saying, we have a guest, Ryan Barrett.
How you guys doing?
I'll let him introduce himself, but he is a pretty legendary person, come to find out. I met him through Premium Edition Games, and after talking to the guy, I mean, like, I was, like, giving him crap about, like, you know, Eric here, who is a huge Metroid fan. I'm like, hey, Ryan, I found a bigger Metroid fan than you. He's like, oh, really? And then, come to find out, go ahead, Ryan.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my name's Ryan. As you stated, I'm coming to you from outer space. It's kind of cold out here. But yeah, I am the webmaster of a kind of famous website called Metroid Database. And
ridiculous.
Yeah, we have like crazy outreach. I think about 65K followers at this point. And it's been a lot of hard work, but yeah, I've really enjoyed being kind of a steward for the Metroid community and all this time, and do a lot of work for that. But yeah, it's great to be here. First off, congratulations to both of you guys for getting 10 episodes in. I mean, you guys are all in on this. That's pretty impressive.
Thank you so much. It's been super fun. As long as it stays fun, we're just going to keep going. So, you know, we'll have you on for episode 10,000 next time.
Awesome.
We'll be 92 years old.
It's been 84 years.
I still play my NES.
I mean,
on a coax.
But yeah, Ryan runs the Metroid Database, which we're going to talk way more in depth about later in the podcast. But for now, we'll kick it back over to Eric, who has the first topic for this week.
So we're going to do our pickups as we usually do. If you got any pickups, Ryan, feel free to show them off or anything like that. I'll go first. I got a few items. I got one today, a real big one. But I know you're into art and everything, Ryan. So I just wanted to show you what me and Abar have been working on.
Yeah.
So I always wanted this oil painting. I wish I could have had this as an oil painting. So he did a photo for me. And I had this hologram because I'm big into holograms. But they They actually, the Street Fighter movie, they came up for Blu-ray. They actually got props from the movie. It's all Bison dollars that they had for the movie, and they gave them out in their special editions. And then I actually got this week. Got the guy that basically played Zangief in the movie, and he's also Halloween. He also does all the Halloween for the new movies. He's actually the guy who plays it, which I thought was pretty cool.
Oh,
He
I didn't
does.
know
He
that.
plays Michael Myers.
Yeah, he plays Michael Myers.
Oh,
Oh.
crazy.
Huh.
So that was like a crazy thing. They had like an autograph session on their site, and I saw him on there. And then they basically just post them to eBay, and you can buy them from there. So they show him visually writing them, and then they basically put them on there for it. So I saw that card, and I was like,
That's
I gotta
awesome,
add
dude.
it to that. You might like this one too. I found a promo from Toys R Us. Our guy here, Ben's Game Zone, had this in the back. And it's just basically
Nice.
telling you, like, you got to get a Nintendo Power, or you can't look at this cool stuff that's right here.
Yeah, I know these huge splashes like all over the
Over the fronts of them,
pages.
like total jerks. And I'm a big Nintendo Power collector, so I'm going to get this framed and hung up on my
That's
thing.
great. I have
Dude,
a
I
story.
didn't even know those existed at first. Like
I
those
didn't either.
sample copies.
Oh,
I didn't
wow.
know anything about those.
I have a quick little story about Nintendo Power if you want to hear that.
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
Kind of sad. All right. Well, long story short, I was a Nintendo Power subscriber in my childhood, and it was probably like, I think my first issue was the Super Mario Kart issue, and I
Okay.
subscribed to it all the way up until the end of high school. So I was like 18, and I was still subscribing to Nintendo Power. And then I decided to go off to college. So when I went off to college, my parents decided, we're not going to keep stuff for
No.
you.
Oh, no.
So I basically I begged and pleaded with them to just keep my Nintendo Powers in a closet. It was a very, very humble request. Just keep it in a box in the closet. I know you have room. Please just keep it there. I'll come back for it at a later time.
My God.
Well, the answer was no. And in tears, I remember crying while this happened. I threw each issue into the trash on that day.
God.
I threw them in the trash. Yes, it was heartbreaking. I bring that up with them every now and then too. How traumatic of an experience them forcing me to throw away my pristine Nintendo Power magazines that are now extremely valuable.
Yeah, you should rub
Wait.
that in their face like
all
now.
the time, as
Oh,
any
man.
chance I get.
You should send them eBay listing posts. Like, see,
Yeah.
this is what we could have had.
Yeah.
A funny story like you, like, so I told Amara this. My grandma, so I ordered with a check, right? I had my allowance, and my mom wrote a check for me, and I sent it to Nintendo to get Link's Awakening and Super Metroid's Guide. And I basically came back from a vacation, and she's like, well, nothing came here. And I was like, oh, okay. So 20 years later, I'm going to Game On Expo. And she's like, oh, by the way, I have some mail for you. And I was like, what are you talking about? And in an envelope, says Nintendo America on the top of it, it was 2 sealed Link's Awakening
Oh my
and Super
God.
freaking Metroid.
That's amazing.
Pristine. And I was so mad at her. I was like, I waited 20 years for this.
But
I
yeah,
thought I
dude,
lost
I'd
it.
be so
you got
happy
them.
because like who has a pristine copy like nowadays?
I'm just shocked it lasted. You know, with my family just throws stuff around like it's nothing. So
Yeah.
to have it pristine is like freaking crazy. Another one that you probably never seen before is this one. I guess Acclaim tried to do their own version of it, and it's like Volume 1, Number 1, and it's just basically like promos like that. They literally just stole right out of Nintendo Power and just
Wow.
posted on their sheets. So I've never seen it before. I thought that was pretty cool.
That's pretty neat.
We went downtown here. There's a place you would love. It's called the Imaginarium, and it's just basically like everything retro's in this place. So I bought these, and it was sealed on the top. And what they did was they put 2 shitty controllers inside of it, and then sealed it. And you know, there's plastic around the top like for it. So I was like, he said 45, so I was like, I'll do 40, and they were like, oh, it's sealed. It's never been opened, and I'm like, oh, okay. So I just took a risk, and when I opened them up, it was like 2 Marlboro cigarettes.
Amazing.
So bad, and it stinks too. The only thing that saved it was like it's never been touched, the instructions or anything for it. So I got ripped off. It was like $20. It's stupid.
Oh,
And
wow.
then lastly, I got these in today. So Shredder's Revenge,
Excellent.
the limited run version of them. I just wanted it for the figure because I'm a big Shredder collector. I collect a bunch of Shredders here.
Yeah.
And then I wanted the mouse mat, so I just bought the PC version just for the $5 mat.
Wow.
And yeah, it was
I can't wait for the DLC for that game. It looks so awesome.
I'm wondering if they're gonna make another release for it, like kind of like they did Streets of Rage, where they like do one more download. I don't know, but I'll buy
like
it.
a complete edition with the
Yeah,
DLC on disc.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure. They'll totally do that.
Yeah.
Totally. And then you got to buy it all over again.
Yeah, money.
And then speaking of bicycling again, I also got the G.I. Joe version of him at the place. He was just sitting there just hanging out, and I felt bad for him, so I was like, I'll take you home. And then also he got me Dead Cells Castlevania, the checkout. That one I haven't got to play it yet, but I was playing over his house, and they definitely need to work on those Metroid jumps for that game. I'll tell you that much. He was laughing at me because I
think Eric needs to work on his Castlevania jumps as well. What's going on?
So bad. I was used to double jumps, and like that game tricked me like to think like I wasn't doing double jumps, and it was horrible.
Yeah, he was trying to do a space jump instead of a double jump.
So what did you get, Amara?
Oh, let's see here. I actually got some. I'm kind of nerdy whenever it comes to like tools that allow me to make things. I'm always making things, so I actually got some bookbinding equipment that is going to allow me to make like individual, like bound, if you will, pieces of the book, like to order if people want. So if you're like a PlayStation 1 collector, I put together just the PlayStation 1, like a visual checklist for like everything that is in the book for PlayStation 1. It's in here. And, and I can do that for format. Any of them. What's that?
It's like a notebook.
Yeah, basically.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I got bookbinding materials, and also like right before the podcast, I got in the mail. I've been waiting for these for 3 weeks, and I showed this to Ryan, but over in the UK, I don't know why they don't sell these here. They would sell like freaking crazy, but over in the UK, they have Super Mario Brothers trading cards.
Oh my God, those are awesome.
I know. So Eric, I've actually got 8 packs for you.
Yes.
But so I opened up one pack, and Natalie and I were like taking turns opening them up. I'm like, okay, I want Gold Bowser. She pulls Gold Bowser for me. Like, yeah, got him. So I don't know, nerdily happy.
UK always gets all the good stuff. What's going on?
I know.
Here?
Yeah, what the hell?
I remember that Metroid 2 Samus Returns, they had that steel book. It made me so mad.
I have it.
So mad.
Yeah.
Yeah, the European Samus Returns.
Mr. Metroid Database. Of course you have it.
Yeah. I had to get it just because, like, I knew that if I had waited, the price was just going to skyrocket on that.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I have to get it now or never. So I did get one, the European version. Yeah, way better than ours.
Yeah. So Video Games New York, which is really funny too, they'll get like, so if they what they'll do is like, say for example, like Link's Awakening, the Link's Awakening didn't come with the steelbook, but it could fit in there. But he went to World Nintendo and they gave him like 20 boxes of them that they had extra, and then he was selling them individually for like $20. And so I got one of those to put one in there, but I don't have the Metroid one yet. I've looked around online; it's too expensive.
Yeah.
Too dang expensive.
And then Eric, I don't know if you have yours handy, but we also have these blind bags. Every once in a while, we'll like grab a blind bag, just a random blind bag or something like that, and open it up as part of our pickups for the week.
Okay.
So we've got these Sonic blind bags. We could get Sonic, Knuckles, Amy, Tails, Gold Sonic, or a rare one, which is just a silhouette. We don't know what it is. Probably like Shadow or something. So let's see what we get.
Let's see who I get. I'm
Boo.
getting Amy. I'm gonna call Amy.
Yeah.
Amy. Sucker.
Knuckles, nice.
I did it on purpose, so I would make sure I would not.
Weird.
It does. Ooh.
It's actually kind of like strawberries, actually.
Ugh. That will go to the birthday boy this Saturday for his Sonic party.
Nice.
We got him like Chaos Emeralds and rings, and then the new Prime show came out, and GameStop got exclusive rights to the figures, so I bought him. It's really funny. I bought him Sonic, and I bought him hipster Robotnik. It's basically they call him New York Robotnik.
Yeah.
He has like a coffee cup, and like he's all like slicked back hair and stuff. It looks ridiculous.
That's funny.
I really liked the new cartoon that came out on Netflix.
Yeah,
I forgot whatever that one was. I actually enjoyed it.
Yeah, Sonic Prime, where they had
Sonic Prime, right? Yeah, it was great.
I've never heard of it.
It's funny. They have like a baby Robotnik, and like my son got me all into it. It's so crazy.
It's like Sonic gets transported into this alternate reality where basically Robotnik won, so he like took over the planet, and yeah, it's pretty good. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was funny.
Wow.
Yeah, they have like a pirate ship, and like Tails looks like Doc Ock. She has like all this claws and stuff.
Yep.
It's pretty crazy.
They get knocked around into all these different realities and stuff. So it's like a multiverse. Yeah.
It's like your boy Doctor Strange.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know if Ryan knows this, but Doctor Strange is my favorite MCU like superhero.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't hurt that it's Benedict Cumberbatch, who I have a man crush on. So. Yeah.
I mean, he is very sexy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's him or Kurt Russell for me. So
I'm Team Russell.
Yeah, Team Russell. Yeah.
Team Russell all day.
It's funny.
So our next topic, you'll love this.
Oh wait, I can't talk about my pickups.
Yeah, we forgot his pickups.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
So it's funny. It actually is right here in front of me, and very conveniently. So I have this.
Tunic,
Ooh,
nice.
Tunic.
Physical version of Tunic, which
Fangamer. I didn't know they made that.
Yeah, Fangamer made it. So it's not like premium. Oh yeah, my green screen's kind of messed up.
Oh, it's all good. Yeah, we can see it pretty well.
I did notice this. It's really, you can't tell at all on the camera here, but the ink that they printed on this insert right here is actually holographic. It's holographic.
I could actually
ink.
tell. Yeah,
I can see it. I can see it. Yeah.
So it kind of
really
shimmers
cool.
a little bit.
Man, that's cool.
Wheels spinning. We need to steal that.
So let me just say
dibs.
one more thing about it here. Have you guys played Tunic?
I haven't. I know of it. I haven't
It's
played
awesome.
it though.
Okay. So the thing with Tunic is throughout the whole game, they go out of their way to not tell you how to play the game.
Oh.
And you basically have to collect pages of the instruction manual, the literal instruction manual
clever.
It's really
throughout
cool.
the whole world, and that's how you figure out how to play the game. And it drops clues and it drops maps and so on and so forth. So with the physical release, they give you the physical version
dude.
of
that's
the manual for Tunic. Again, it's kind of messing up because it's a little greenish. But here's the weird thing about this, right? So if you own this and you take a look at it,
Yeah, it's cheating basically.
Not only are you cheating, you're spoiling the game for you.
Yeah.
You're literally spoiling the game by owning this. So it's like this catch-22. I mean, it's really nice, and it's a beautiful, color manual, and it's really well made. The pages are literally identical to the pages that you find.
That's really clever. I love the sort of Inception kind of stuff like that. There are two different video games besides Tunic that I know have done that sort of thing. Not the like put together the manual in the game thing, but actually like bringing the physical manual into real life as part of the release. So Ni no Kuni did it with it was a really rare version too, because Ni no Kuni at the time wasn't like a really known release.
Yeah.
But like the Wizard version or something like that actually had a spell book that came with it.
Nice.
It's pretty sought after. And then Enter the Gungeon has the Ammonomicon that is in physical form. So I love whenever companies do that. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very happy with it.
One thing I thought that would have been awesome is like, how I remember what it was in Xbox. It's basically you can backwards time, and it had like little puzzle pieces that you can get. And I thought it would be cool if they did like puzzle pieces of each of those levels. I think it was called Brain. I think it was
Braid.
called
Braid.
Yeah, Braid. Yeah.
Braid, yeah.
Yeah, and so they had like those puzzle pieces. I'm like, man, that would have been cool if they would have just done like a whole puzzle of that, like for each level, and just built it all together, which I thought would be pretty.
Yeah, that'd
cool.
be neat.
Yeah. For sure.
All right, next topic is you'll laugh at this. We have a little topic called a bar's night at the movies.
Okay.
He has not watched pretty much almost every 80s and 90s pop culture movie ever.
Oh yeah.
So we're
told me
trying
about
to
that.
speed him up a little bit with this. And so we usually do is he'll do a review of a movie that he selected. Last week it was Cyborg, Jean-Claude Van Damme. And then he'll pick 3 new movies randomly, and then he has to watch it and give us a book report on it. So
Okay.
why don't you tell us a little bit about Van Damme and Cyborg?
Yeah. So just to elaborate on what Eric was saying about this segment, it's kind of like whenever you hit 50 years old and you can accelerate your IRA contributions to catch up. Well, I've been catching up for a long time with my movie reviews. So I've hit 40. I'm 41 now, but at 40 years old, I'm trying to increase my contributions to my brain with all these movies that I've missed. So we're putting them in the data bank.
Awesome.
All right, for this one, I actually took notes. I'm going to start taking notes for these because there are a lot of things that I forget to say. And I didn't want to forget to say anything about a Van Damme movie, especially one that's that was like, following up Bloodsport. So I went into this thinking that Van Damme was the cyborg.
Yeah.
He's not the cyborg, which
I know.
It either makes it cooler because he's just some like badass martial artist against like these people, or it makes it more lame because holy shit, can you imagine the spin kicks from a cyborg? But whatever. So the Fender, the baddie, I feel like he was just there to be an Oakley salesman.
For sure.
That's all he is. He's just an Oakley spokesperson wearing Oakleys all the time, looking badass. Like shit, dude, those Oakleys look fucking awesome. I need those Oakleys. So that's all he was there for. Terrible dialogue, as I expected with Van Damme, especially that accent. It just doesn't sound natural ever. That was a fucked up death. That well death?
Yep.
Oh my gosh, that's like something out of Saw. Here, hold this razor wire, and if you don't hold on to it, then they're gonna fall to their death. Shit, dude. Do that to a kid too. I want that 4-barrel shotgun.
Yes.
That thing's awesome. Why isn't that a thing in like every single FPS that you ever play? I laughed my ass off whenever the knife came out of his shoe. I'm like, oh, here comes the spin kick to the throat. And there it was. Spin kick to the throat. Oh gosh, the worst, most like, you have to suspend reality moment of the entire movie is whenever he was like hiding from the dude and he was doing the splits over him. You don't have any like, I mean, your vision isn't like, did he have horse blinders on? Like he's doing the splits over you, but you're walking forward. You can fucking see him right there.
It's required by law of Van Damme movies. He has to do at least one split. It's the rules.
That's probably
Hollywood
true.
makes that
It's in
rule.
his contract, for sure.
In his contract, one split.
So I was just shaking my head, but I was appreciative of the moment because it was so fucking stupid, but it was something to talk about anyway. Van Damme Jesus.
Yes.
Van Damme Jesus on the cross, and he kicks himself off of it, and it doesn't even show his kicks. I can't even imagine how awkward those kicks are to the post that he's on. Like, okay, Van Damme Jesus. And then the final fight. They're literally standing there. They literally stood there for a minute, shirtless in the rain, just posing at each other. It was a pose off. Like I'm like the whole time, like how much longer is this going on? Are they going to pose each other to death?
Uncomfortable silence.
It was, but
It's
there's
called the
freaking
Zoolander rule.
Fender being an Oakley salesman, and Van Damme just looking hot and oiled up. Come on, he's hot.
Wait a minute. Hot and oiled up? You could have just been like, he's just oiled up.
Did I say hot? Oh, sorry. No, yeah, and then the final, he kills him, but he doesn't really kill him. So then he has to spin kick him onto a meat hook, and that's how it ends.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
Duh.
of course.
I like that death. You're just like, fuck you. That was cool.
It's a meat hook requirement.
So let's see. What do I give this as my rating? When because it's a follow up to Bloodsport, and I think you have to take that into account whenever you give this thing a rating. If I'm comparing it to Bloodsport, which I'm going to, and that's my comparison, that's my rating system. I'm giving this a 1. I'd buy that for $1 out of 5. 1.
I give it a 3 all in the reflexes. Like Mad Max was so hot back then. That's why he did that movie. He's like, dude,
yeah,
you're a badass, and then we're gonna take you and we're gonna put you in Mad Max world and doing crazy stuff. So you just gotta enjoy what Van Damme gives you. He just gives you a couple of lines, a few kicks, and then an epic.
He really didn't talk that much, relatively speaking.
Well, don't you think that that movie was kind of a response to Terminator at all?
Yep.
Oh no! Yeah, it was a response to Terminator. It was a response to Blade Runner, and it was a response to what did you just mention? Mad Max.
Mad Max, yeah.
It was like those 3 combined.
Right. And it didn't predate any of them, so.
Nope.
Yes.
Yeah, it's funny because he's like, when I showed it to him, he was like, he was in this movie, and I was like, you didn't see this at all?
I'd never heard of it.
Crazy.
All right, so I looked up a little bit of background on it, and it was the follow up to Bloodsport, which I didn't know about. So
it's crazy. You guys heard about him being in the new Mortal Kombat, right?
Psyched.
Of course he does.
Psyched.
Yeah.
I just played the beta. I just finished playing
the
beta. Yeah.
How is it?
There's a couple things I'm going to tell you right now. Sub-Zero is going to be the one that's going to piss everyone off because he is like God mode on that game. Like they gave him everything. He has Kung Lao's kick now, freeze kick. He can do 4 clones at once. Jeez. He can also freeze your legs from underneath you when you're even like away from him. Oh. And it's nuts. The other one that's going to be a problem is Johnny Cage, because Johnny Cage can basically do shadow kicks back to back to back to back. Ooh. So once someone gets you in the corner, you can literally kick them. But they also have they call him star mode. And so he has a big star on the bottom. And then basically when the spotlight comes on him and he'll wave to the crowd, he can shadow disappear behind you and do shadow kicks. So he can like move in shadows, which is like crazy as hell. Wow. Love Kitana. The way they set up Kitana, she's awesome. That's the one I play with the most. The cameos need some work. I couldn't figure out like how to do the cameos correctly. And then also Fatal Blows. You know how Fatal Blows was like L1, L2 or R1, R2? Well, they switched it like this. So there's one R2 and one, R1, and then like they'll switch them to where they're 2 different sides. So when you're trying to do Fatal Blows, you don't know what you're doing. And if you change your controls, it messes it up even worse.
That sucks.
So weird.
Well, how many characters were there to play as in that beta?
So there was Lee May, there was Sub-Zero, Johnny Cage, and then Kitana.
Okay.
And then you could do 2 levels. It was the tea house, and you could do Johnny Cage's house. And what's cool about it is it has day and night cycles for it too. You could select day or night cycles.
Oh, nice.
And the levels are completely different based on those different times. Like if you go to the tea house at night, it's like fireworks. If you go to Johnny Cage's house, he has like a fireplace, and the fireplace turns on, and you hear ladies in the background like, "Come back to bed, Johnny."
Nice.
So I mean, and then if you want to know about speed wise, MKX is probably the fastest speed I've seen. It's like slower than 11. It's really weird.
Okay.
But Marvel, if you're a Marvel vs. Capcom 2 fan, there's so many ridiculous air juggles. It's insane.
So it's like that.
It's like MVC 2.
Well, because you said that there's infinite assists, like the cameo characters, right?
They have a burn gauge, but the problem was on our beta, they weren't burning out. This dude was literally throwing Kano at me like 100 times. But it's their old school look too, so it's like an old school Kano, it's an old school Jax. We had Frost.
Yep. Saw that.
And they were doing, people were doing combos and like doing her leg grab and then throwing in the air, bouncing, and then you're doing more combos. So like I said, it's going to be, I can't wait to see it at EVO. It's going to be chaos.
I can't wait to see Sonic Fox pick that game up.
He's all on Street Fighter 6 right now.
He's on everything, and he's good at everything. It's ridiculous.
So
like that kid is insane.
But you got your choices, sir. You got your 3 new choices: A, B, or C.
Okay.
One's a troll, of course. One's a troll.
I think anytime we have a guest on, I'm gonna let them pick A, B, or C. So let's defer to Ryan.
Oh no. Okay. So you have pre-picked movies? Are you saying?
Yeah.
He does.
I don't show him anything, so he can't see it. He can't make any judgment on them. Random pick.
C.
You picked a very good one. They Live.
Oh, nice.
God, that's crazy. I was going to tell you to watch that movie. I was literally like right about to tell you to watch that movie. I'm so excited.
An Evening with Roddy Piper. I won't spoil anything
that's
for
my
you.
most top one, number one 80s movie of all time. That movie.
Well, that's appropriate then.
I can't believe you've never seen They Live.
I only know of They Live because of the Simpsons Bart versus the Space Mutants.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So I know the gimmick. I've never seen the movie.
Well, and then Duke Nukem, Duke Nukem takes all its quotes from that movie.
Yeah. I knew that too.
Here's a funny thing, Ryan. Today, Shout had on there, they were doing They Live and The Thing in like these special steel books where John Carpenter signed them.
Ooh.
And like I tried to get on there and they were like, he literally did like 20 a piece.
Yeah.
They were gone.
Of course.
And I was so mad. I wanted that They Live so bad.
I actually
pop out.
Speaking of The Thing, I only watched that just a year ago for the first time, like while I was over in Qatar. Yeah. So I really like that one.
Sweet. Yeah, I have an actual like real piece of art, not from the movie. It's a fan art, a charcoal drawing that someone drew, and it's got the 2 characters on it. But wait, so you've never seen it? You've never seen They Live?
I've never seen They Live. No.
But you have some kind of idea what it's about.
Yeah,
right?
I know it's Roddy Piper, and like he puts on glasses and he can see who's like an alien in like people skin or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, and that's all I know about it. I've never seen the movie though.
It's got one of the most longest drawn out fight scenes in movie history. It takes so long to end.
Wait,
and by the
are
time
they
it
shirtless?
ends, you're like, just
are they in the rain?
fighting
Are they wearing
already.
Oakleys?
Yes. And it has to do with sunglasses.
Well, I'm in.
Yeah, it's great. Oh, I love that movie. I watch that movie like annually.
Awesome.
I'm so happy.
Did Eric freeze? I think Eric froze.
Oh, I think he did too.
Yeah. Hey, let's. All right, we'll have to put this on pause real quick.
All right.
Sorry about that. My kids decided to run really fast and pull the plug on my router. So.
Oh shit!
All I heard was do. I was like, "What is that sound?" And then I went upstairs to see if everyone was all right. And then because the internet just lost. And then I went upstairs like, "Is he okay?" He's like, "Yeah." So I had to connect it back on. So apologies.
Oh, no worries. Right. Yeah, Ryan and I were just talking, and like, whenever I edit this, I'm just gonna put a now loading sign over your face.
Yes.
Awesome.
Oh, let's see. Where were we?
Roddy Piper. You said you were
talking about They Live.
Yeah, They Live, and I was just telling Ryan like what I know about the movie, and then I'm aware of the plot. It's just I've never seen the movie, so I think we can probably move on to the next segment.
Cool.
So we're gonna go into Metroid memories since we're the cool kids here in Metroid Blood Brothers, and Abara just beat Metroid 2.
I'm just tagging along.
So since you're the guest, what are some of your favorite Metroid memories? Any game, any genre, anything that you feel you want to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, well, my whole life has basically been Metroid up to this point. It's like not even gonna lie. I have some Metroid tattoos. It's kind of hard to see on camera.
It's Ridley,
because it's it's on my forearm. I got six up here.
Sick, dude.
Those 2 are some of my biggest memories. So I don't know, because it actually ties into the Metroid database. But if I want to focus on the games themselves, like I have a man, you're making me think about.
Well, let me ask you a preliminary question.
Sure.
What is it about Metroid that resonated with you so much that you love it that much, and that I mean, that's your game. That's your game.
I'm going to try not to get choked up, but it's the community.
It's all good, man.
It's the community around this game. It's 100%. That's what, because I was all in for Zelda. Before I found Metroid, I was 100% all in for Zelda, and I would always go onto a website called ZHQ, and that was,
I know that too.
I was on ZHQ all the time, and I was involved with the Zelda community. And then later on, I found Metroid. So the thing about Metroid, and I've talked about this before, the thing about Metroid is that it is forever niche. It's a niche game series. It's, even though it's like a huge, everyone knows well, a lot of people have heard of it. It's not nearly as big as Zelda or Metroid or Pokemon or Mario. It's not nearly as big as those games, and it's Nintendo's like sub-series. So due to that, for whatever reason, I feel like it actually talks to me more as a human being. I relate to that. But yeah, it's not just the, I mean, oh my God, it's a reference to aliens, right? It's not just that. And oh my God, you're playing as a kick-ass, sexy bounty hunter in a suit of armor. It's not all that. It's not just those things. It's the fact that the game itself is kind of like seen as the black sheep of Nintendo. And I just, for whatever reason, it really resonates with me as a human being.
So, and this is funny. I just drew a parallel while you were talking. You were into Zelda, and now you're into Metroid. I think maybe subconsciously you're into games that have protagonists with a mistaken identity, because people always call Link Zelda,
right?
And they always call Samus Metroid. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what else what other games are like that?
Oh, John Halo. John Halo.
Yep. John Halo. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's really cool. I love to hear why, people love the things that they love. And the fact that you found a community of people that are as passionate about it as you are just goes to show you that, even though it's a black sheep, so to speak, of, Nintendo's IPs, there is a lot of love out there, and Nintendo really needs to take notice of that.
Sure.
And make you guys a little bit more happy. Hey, Konami, are you listening?
Right.
Okay. Sorry, I said my piece.
Funny story about me is I used to stalk your website like religiously. I would just sit there for hours scrolling through every person's conversations. I feel like I was a stalker on your guys' website.
You mean like in the forums?
Whenever I had like I was bored and had time, I would sit there and just scroll on through, because AM2R was a big thing. Like like everyone was on there like all excited about it. There was speedrunning communities and stuff like that. Like people were trying to beat records and things like that. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And now it's crazy because I saw Oates just got a new world record on Super Metroid, which was nuts.
Yeah.
And he looks so stressed at the end of that too, because he was trying to get to that end.
He was crying at the end after he did it.
Man.
He was like, "This is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life." It's crazy.
Yeah, and the Twitch guys were making it worse for him. He's like, he's gonna do it, and he looked like he was in such panic mode when he was waiting for Mother Brain to die. I was like, he's about to have a heart attack.
I love whenever those streamers actually have like a heart rate monitor, because I mean, dude, the stress is real. Speaking of like speedruns, I just watched Zallard 1 just beat the Punch-Out world record recently and uploaded that.
Wow.
So yeah, these classic games like Super Metroid and whatever, people are still running those. And dude, I can't even imagine. Like I would probably like pass out if I were that close to beating a world record like that.
You have to
I
take
wish it was in this
anxiety,
era
man.
though.
Oh, big
Because like
time.
now they have like the randomizers with the Link in the Metroid.
Mhm.
They have like they do different colors and variants of their games, and like I also do like the Mario games, like the trolling like levels like a Mario Maker. They're doing that on that as well. So there's like so many crazy things that like I wish I would have had as a kid, because I would probably be all over it.
Oh yeah.
My big game is, and honestly, Memories. The original one kind of blew my mind, because I always joke like Zoolander. It was the first time you can go left on a game, so that was a big deal for me, because it's like, wow, I'm actually going this.
I never thought about that, dude. As a kid, yeah, that blew me away. Like being able to go left and get the ball, like right away.
And a lot of people don't like one a lot because it's like really, really hard. You only got 30 things like that, but
It
like
takes a lot of patience to play.
Yep, correct.
This guy.
But yeah. But I really fell in love with it, honestly, with 2. I played that on the Game Boy like religiously. I even sent in to Nintendo Power, and I was so mad. I sent in, I got like an hour 5, and I saw on the magazine prior to that it was like a hour 30, and then I actually had a letter, and I wish I still had it. And they're like, sorry, someone just got like 56 minutes on it, so we're posting his thing on there. And I was like, oh my god, it was so hard to take a picture of that damn screen.
Yeah.
And but I was obsessed with that game. And then like I told Amara a million times, I went into a Toys R Us and they set up a laser disc of showing off the power bomb going off on Super Metroid, and I was all in. I was like, that's my game.
I remember that in KB Toys too, seeing that video.
I literally just wear that game out. Super Metroid, I probably wore out like probably millions of times. I'll just, if I get bored, I just pop it in and try to see how fast I can go through it. I love that game, and that's so funny. Like Small World, we went to MGC, and then you told me about that, and I was like, did we just become best friends?
Pretty much.
Because you were yelling at me like, why didn't you post anything on there? I was like, I didn't want to. I thought everyone was like these gurus and badasses, so I was like, I'm not going on there to be talking none of my stuff. But I love your website, and I always appreciate it. It gave me so much love to see other people that enjoyed Metroid as much as me. So I definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
What about you, Abara?
Well, my favorite Metroid moment just happened last week.
Wow.
Well, I've told you guys about it, but I haven't talked about it on this podcast because it's so new. I started Metroid 2. I bought the game whenever it was brand new, whenever I had a Game Boy back in the day. DMG, like poor lighting, trying to play it in the back of my parents' minivan, like anytime a street light hit just right. I was playing like Link's Awakening and Metroid 2. Those were the first 2 games that I bought on the Game Boy. So, of course, after I beat Link's Awakening, I'm trying to beat Metroid 2, which, at that time I wasn't a Metroid fan, and still, I'm casually a fan, but I'm just not a fanboy of it. It's never really resonated with me so much, just because I'm more a Castlevania guy. You know that. That's no secret. But Metroid 2, yeah, the tomatoes just anyway. So Metroid 2, I never beat the game because I got stuck. I got stuck, man. I mean, there's no map in the game. There's, I had a subscription in Nintendo Power, and it could only help me so much. So I don't know what was going on. But come to find out that there was one thing that I didn't know about that was preventing me from beating the game, and I was right there at the end of the game. So I picked it back up, and Eric and I have been talking about this. Like, I just postulated a couple of weeks ago. I'm like, oh, dude, I wonder if my save file's still on my cartridge, because I still had my childhood cart. And I never bothered to look if I still have that save file. So I popped it in my analog pocket, and there it is, my save file, right where I left it 31 years ago. So
it was meant to be.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Yeah, so I give Eric a call, and he's on audio with me while I'm playing this, and he knows where I am because of the sound cues. I'm not like showing him video or anything like that, but he could tell what I was doing and where I was just based on the music. So he sent over a map to me. Whatever. Back in the day, you would have a friend or Nintendo Power helping you out, so I don't feel like I was cheating. But back then, I didn't have any friends that played Metroid 2, so I couldn't do that sort of thing. I didn't have any other people that played Metroid. To my knowledge, I was the only person in my friend group that played Metroid. So anyway, I'm trying to remember like stuff, and I'm like, dude, I can't get up this platform. He's like, oh, use the spider ball. I'm like, oh, it's spider ball. Oh yeah, okay. I totally forgot. 31 years later. So I'm using the spider ball, and I can get over there, and then like I got to this one part where I used the spider ball, but then I'm in this like liquid, and I can't get any further up. He's like, dude, you're just supposed to jump through that. I'm like, I can't jump high enough. He's like, no, you just keep jumping, like the space jump. Like, you can jump as many times as you want. I'm like, wait, what? What do you mean I can jump as many times as I want? So, like, this whole time I had the space jump, and I had no idea that you could. And apparently, the manual even says that you can perpetually jump.
I was right about to say that. Like, it's probably stated in the manual.
It's stated in the manual, but 10-year-old me doesn't know what perpetual means.
Yeah.
So thanks, Nintendo, for that. Yeah, stay in school, kids. Yeah, so with that in mind and that new knowledge and knowing that I have everything that I need, I got to the final bunch of Metroids, but then found out that I didn't have the ice beam, so I had to go back and get the ice beam. And Coffin, he didn't warn me about the Queen when I got to her, like what to do. So he let me die a few times, and I was cussing up a storm. But I finally beat the game 31 years later. Long story short, my favorite Metroid memory is by far, as a 41-year-old, beating Metroid 2 for the first time 31 years later after I started it. And I'll never be able to do that with another video game in my life. That's going to be, I mean, seriously, it means a lot to me. I'm going to have to like frame it or something. I don't know.
The funny thing is I asked him what his time was. It's like, does it say like 32 years, 4 months, and 13 days?
Only if he had left it on. Only if he had left it on for all that time.
Yeah, 9999999.
Right.
But I was having, because I played Metroid 2 so much. I had literally no other game on the Game Boy. I would literally just play that over and over and over again. And I would try to see, I was so obsessed with it, I would like take the spider ball and I would just go to every crevice I could to see if there was something that I missed.
Yeah.
I was obsessed with it.
And I was telling Ryan earlier about, there was one particular piece of music in the game that would always just haunt me. Because I would have to like check every single nook and cranny. I was missing something. I didn't know what it was. Like, why couldn't I beat the game? And this music just, I hate it. I hate it so much. Like, I was telling Ryan that it reminded me of that track on Resident Evil 2 with the horns.
Yeah.
Like, it sounds like a middle school band warming up. Like, oh, come on, man.
Now we just got to get you to beat Samus Returns, the new one on 3DS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You'll be very well prepared. You'll know what to expect.
Yeah, I know how to use the space jump, guys.
Yeah, space jump. It'll save everything for you. Right.
Yeah, so while we were talking, Ryan sent me a scan of the manual. I'm just going to, for everyone out there who's stuck on Metroid 2 because they don't know how the space jump works, I'm going to explain this to you. Straight out of the manual. With this item, Samus can jump continuously through the air and spin while jumping. Okay, wait, it says continuously. How did I miss that? Anyway, learn how to use this item effectively by hitting the jump button again before she touches the ground, and Samus will be able to do a perpetual jump. It may require some practice, but keep trying. What? I would like to go smack my 10-year-old self now.
I didn't even read the instruction guide. I actually just like jumped twice, and I'm like, okay, I guess I can do this.
I guarantee I did. What the heck? Oh, well, whatever. 31 years later.
Well, I will say this. Unfortunately, there was never an official Metroid 2 guide that they released. All we had were the pages of Nintendo Power.
Oh, that must be what I'm remembering.
And then there's third-party guides out there, but they had those tiny little books. It was mostly just words. They didn't even have pictures in them, or they were black and white and they were kind of crappy, those guidebooks. But yeah, we never got Metroid 2 as an actual guide from Nintendo
right.
Power.
Yeah, it's crazy because like I used to do the old graph paper. I would just go to a room and I would just
Nice.
draw it
Map it
down
out.
and then and that's all I did. And then
Yeah.
I would just become obsessed with it. Like there's like also the one confusing part of that game, and I'll say honestly, they have one part where it gives you all the weapons. So if like say for example like you didn't know about the ending where you have to freeze the Metroids, like if you didn't know that little spot that had the freeze beam, you would think you had to go all the way back to go get that freeze beam.
But it's right there.
Which is horrible. Yeah, when it's like right next to you, which is
Yeah.
that's why I told him I was like, don't go back.
Yeah. So Ryan, we kind of skipped over a little bit. Like you didn't get to say what your favorite Metroid moment is.
Well, yeah, I mean, if we want to just focus on the game, I will say like the lead up to Prime 1's release is probably one of my all-time favorite moments because I was so pissed that Prime was going to be first person. That's actually what led me to find the Metroid Database because I wanted to bitch at people about Nintendo switching to first person.
I love it.
That was like, you're stabbing my heart, Nintendo. How dare you,
Mm-hmm.
How dare you make a game that isn't 2D? What? So yeah, once Prime came out, like I was in college at the time. It was 2002. And I think I skipped some classes that week when Prime came out, and it was a euphoric experience. I can't describe it other than that. It changed my life. It changed the way I look at video games, and it changed my complete perspective. And it totally made me trust anything Nintendo could ever make, especially retro. From then on. So yeah, like after Prime 1 came out, it was just like, I hate this term, but I'm going to say it anyway. It was a game changer.
Yeah. Well, and I will say this, you Metroid punks, at least Metroid works in 3D, unlike my Castlevania.
Mm.
And I mean, we also don't have skulls riding motorcycles either.
Yeah, that was one game, dude. That was one game.
They hyped it up so much, and then I played that Castlevania on 64, and I was like, "Is a skeleton riding a motorcycle?"
Oh, that game is awful. Yeah, but wait, so you don't like the Lords of Lords of Shadow games?
Oh,
is that a touchy subject?
About to get red here.
Oh, we're not allowed talking about Lords of Shadow.
Blood pressure rising.
I won't let him. So he told me he hated that game, right? So I've been poking the bear for a long time. I bought him the 360 versions of those games. I made it as a punishment on retrospective. Of one retrospective, he had to play that game because he was trying to avoid it like the plague.
Ryan, we haven't talked enough clearly.
I didn't know. That was such a touchy subject for you.
Oh man. Oh man.
It's boiling.
I'll just leave it at that.
Wait. So you must have played the 2.5D one, right? The
yeah,
one
Mercury Steam.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one's okay.
Yeah, but that's made by Mercury Steam, the people who made Dread.
I understand that. I understand that.
And they made Samus Returns too on the 3DS.
Yeah.
They got better.
It got better. Yeah.
Maybe the reason that Dread is so good is because Nintendo was involved. Maybe.
I'm saying, well, yeah. Well, okay. We're gonna go back to Lords of Shadow here, but it was the biggest bait and switch for me because I was super hyped about it. It was Mercury Steam. It was a new. It was like a Castlevania reboot. Finally, it's gonna work in 3D, and holy shit, Kojima's team is on it.
Right.
How
what could go wrong? What could go wrong?
Yeah. No, it was all about shattered expectations. That's why I hate it so much.
So like you said, Nintendo's supposed to be watching them. You know how what Konami did? They act like Mr. Krabs, like, make me money.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah.
But he told me he hated it. I told him, like I said, I liked the first one, and he that's how I found he flipped out on me. He's like, it's the worst game ever made. And so from there, I've just been poking the bear with it all the time.
Yeah, it's a running joke. I hate it. I hate it so much.
original plan I was going to do was I was just going to randomly just keep putting Lords of Shadows in his collection, just like coming over his house and just sliding one into the wall.
Hey, you can just keep putting the 2D one on 3DS. It's worth something.
You know why I could not do for the life of me after Dread came out? I heard about that game and I tried to find it, and it was like I couldn't find it anywhere.
Yeah, it's expensive.
Couldn't find it anywhere.
I have it on Steam, just the digital version on Steam.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got the 3DS one because I wanted it for the kind of like with Samus Returns. I was like, I wanted those together.
Oh,
But
yeah.
they were trying to do a. That's why Dread came out so crazy, because they were trying to do a 3D fusion originally. Mercury Steam was trying to sell it, and they were like, no. It was like, no. So next topic we're going to go over is Prime 4 that's been mysteriously hiding somewhere in Nintendo's closet somewhere, and Metroids that are beyond that. So, you know, what we think the where they're going to gravitate to in the future with these games, with, you know, Metroidvanias being so popular right now. You know, I was so happy we got Dread after seeing all those freaking stupid GBA and DS photos of it. I remember watching it in a magazine. I was like so happy that they finally opened that. So I want to get your thoughts on what do you think Prime 4 might look like, and also what do you think it's going to happen beyond Prime 4?
I'm going to have the least to say about this because you guys are the Metroid guys, and you know what you want out of the franchise. So I'll go first, especially since, you know, we're running a bit long on the last one. So that way I'll keep it a little bit shorter if I just say a little piece. What I predict is that they're going to have in the next, after Metroid 4, Prime 4, excuse me, they're going to have an unnamed Metroid title, and you're going to go through the entire game thinking that it's Samus, but then when you beat the game, it's actually Simon Belmont under the armor. All right, go ahead, guys.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Okay. What are we talking about? Prime 4?
Yep.
So,
And beyond.
yeah, very little is known right now about Prime 4. Mostly just rumors. I think the most recent rumor about it was that it's going to have this huge open world. So it might be like going back to the old games where you have this sprawling world that you can just go anywhere you want. So that's something to look forward to.
Mhm.
I can't really speculate, unfortunately. I think when it comes to me and kind of how I run the MDB, as well as my staff members, we try our best not to share rumors and set those expectations with fans, because we don't want them to like think of these ideas and start spreading them throughout the internet, and then they just become completely untrue.
Oh, so you don't want the next Metroid game to become Lords of Shadow?
Yeah, not that. Please
Okay,
don't.
gotcha.
Lords of Samus, sir.
Lords of Samus.
Lords of
Okay.
Samus.
I think well, here's the one thing about Prime 4 right now, at least online, that kind of gets to me, is that people think it doesn't exist. People think it's vaporware, when that is completely not true at all. It 100% exists. There are people, I actually personally know someone that is working on the game at this very moment, and he's never going to tell me about it, but he has a job, right? He's employed and he has a job and he's working on the game. The game is being currently developed. It's not just some little carrot that Nintendo is dangling in front of our face.
Mm-hmm.
I think as far as the game itself, if you've played Prime Remastered, you know that's the bar. It's going to probably be way beyond that bar as far as the graphics go. So we know it's going to look absolutely gorgeous. However, I also have a little fan theory myself, and that is that Nintendo has always decided that it was going to be the launch title for the Switch 2.
I do too.
And that they have been working with the hardware retro and developing it to show off the full capabilities of what this new Switch 2, whatever it's going to be called, Switch Pro, I don't know, is going to be called, and that will be the launch title for it. Now, if that happens, I won't be surprised, but that's what I really think is going to occur.
I hope so. I hope you're right.
I think they did a test with, when Dread came out and then they did the OLED upgrade. I think it was a test to see how this would work, because Nintendo's always strategic about what they do at all times. And I think they wanted to see, one, if Metroid would definitely sell again, and then two, they could like throw out the OLED one. Because I was mad. I was like, they could have made a Metroid special edition. I've got my 3DS one. Why can't I get my dang Switch one? So I'm hoping Switch 2 they rectify these issues. But I thought I was telling Bar about this. I said, what if it's like Breath of the Wild, where it's open world like that? You can go to like mini planets. You can get upgrades from different mini places, different suits, different bosses and things like that. I think that would be awesome, because they've been trying to do it for years. When they did Corruption, they had you going planet to planet as well. So right. I'm like wondering if that's what their game plan is with it. They have the engine for Breath of the Wild and also Tears of the Kingdom now, and so they might be able to use that as kind of like Capcom does with the RE engine. They use it for everything now, and they could use that to make a amazing Prime game where you go not to just a one area, you can go to throughout multiple areas and do that. And I'm also hoping they bring back Mother Brain. I really do. I want her to come back from the dead. I think it would be.
And I hope it's voiced by the person who did it in Captain N.
Little Richard.
Yeah, sure. Was it him? No.
I was. It's someone that's acting like him.
It's the I forgot the name of the actor. It's the actor who did Audrey 2 in Little Shop of Horrors.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Beyond that, I wonder if they're going to do a throwback like to Prime, where like when Prime got released, we had Fusion. So it's like maybe they'll throw a 2D and a 3D game, all at once. Mm-hmm. Because basically it's two different, variations of the storyline. You know what I mean? So I think that would be kind of a cool throwback, because I remember the day it came out. I ain't gonna lie, the first day Fusion came out, I'm gonna laugh at this, but someone took the Japanese version of that game, put it on the computer, and it was playable like 2 weeks prior to the game. And I thought it was a fan-made game. I really thought it was a fan-made game. And then I picked up Fusion and played it, and I was like, I just played a pirated copy of Fusion. I didn't even know. I thought because it was just a linear game. So I was like, there's no way this is it. Someone made this, and boy was I wrong. But I think they need to also kind of do like both. I think a 2D one would be awesome as well. I love Dread. Dread's probably number 2 behind Super Metroid. It was so good the way they closed it, and I'm happy about it. But
I love Dread too.
We need another one. That one was way too good.
How amazing would Metroid be? I mean, like I'm kind of riffing off of your open world comment. How amazing would Metroid be as a looter shooter? That'd be sick.
I mean, I don't like looter shooters unless I'm playing it with someone else, and Metroid has always been very solitary.
Yeah, very.
So I'm not sure if that would work well.
No, it wouldn't. I would like to see a Borderlands-esque game within the Metroid universe. I would eat that up, man.
Well, the thing about Prime is that it's basically a perfect balance between the first-person action and some puzzle solving, and the morph ball puzzles, and you're switching between those two all the time. You even do it like during the final boss fight in Prime 1. But if they find a way to make that as this huge kind of almost intimidating world or worlds where you have to traverse, but then there's also these morph ball puzzles, these handmade morph ball puzzles. I don't know how that's going to pan out. They Metroid games have always kind of had a limited scope, even though Prime 3, as you just stated, has those different planets that you can go to, and it's actually just kind of cleverly hidden load times when you fly back and forth between the planets, and it kind of makes it seem bigger than it really is, but you're still in these very, chosen, handmade, designed rooms,
curated,
going from one room to the next, and that's what Metroid's always been about.
Yeah.
It gives you the illusion that you're in this humongous, giant open world. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that's going to pan out.
One final thing for me when it comes to those morph ball puzzles, I want to see in Prime the fusion, if you will, between Prime and Metroid Pinball.
I love Metroid Pinball. It's
I
great.
love it too. It's amazing.
So good. I love that game. Another thing I thought too at the end, what if they go back to the original plan for Super Metroid and like you play an open world?
Yeah, but
One
Zebus
like
blew
that.
up. Zebus blew up though. Are you talking about? So
Yeah.
it depends on the timeline. We don't really have to go
Yeah,
into this
correct.
right now because that's a
Yeah.
whole nother can of worms. But
Yep.
yeah, like if Prime 4 takes place like before Super Metroid, then yeah, maybe we could go to Zebus. I don't know. That would be weird.
Save the animals.
Well, it's funny they said we killed all the X's in the freaking fusion, and then in Dread it showed right back up.
Yep, sure
They
did.
have a good real way of manipulating things, but yeah, I'm pretty excited about it for sure. Next topic is going to be the Metroid Database. Basically the place I've been stalking for most of my life. I thought you guys were the cool kids, you with the leather jackets and all your cool Samus stuff. So I would love to know more about it. I would like to know also, like, what was your influences of working on that database and your passion with it?
Okay. Well, yeah, like I mentioned earlier, I kind of just fell into the position, really. I was part of the community because, I wanted to find a bitch place to talk about Prime 1 coming out. And then I got completely obsessed, and I was probably 18, 19 at the time. And that was like in, I don't know, 1998. So since the site came out in 96 first, it had already been established as pretty much the #1 Metroid website online, the first in 1996. So people were already going to the Metroid website, the Metroid database for all their Metroid news and rumors. And, we didn't have social media at the time, so we had to go somewhere, and the MDB was it. But later on, the Metroid series grew and the community grew, and I kind of assigned myself into being this role where I was doing graphic design for the website. And, the whole thing was just fueled by my love of Metroid, and it was basically a hobby. So I started doing it more and more. I think around, I guess that's a good segue into this story. I'll make it kind of brief as much as I can. 2007 rolled around, and in 2007, the original founder of the website, his name is TJ, which I actually saw at MGC this past year. He didn't really want to do the website anymore. He didn't want to work on it. His passion for Metroid had kind of waned, and he was kind of done. I think it was due to Prime 2. That was kind of what let it put a bad taste in his mouth. I mean, he wasn't really into Metroid as much anymore. So he wasn't really updating the website anymore. So me and two of my other friends, we kind of came together with him, and I think we wrote him a big formal email, and we were like, we would like to take the site off your hands. And he was like, by all means.
Awesome.
And the rest was history. So one more thing on top of that, also in 2007, I lived in Ohio at the time, and I drove from Ohio to where he lived, and I got a tattoo from him. So he is a tattoo artist by profession.
Sick, dude.
That's awesome.
So TJ did this Samus tattoo for me in 2007, and that was kind of like the handshake of him, giving me the website in tattoo form. So it was a big honor for me to actually get the site, and that was history at that moment.
Okay, so and now that you've said that, I have one comment, two questions.
Okay.
So when you pass on the website to someone else, does that mean that you have to give a tattoo to them?
I mean, if I was a tattoo artist.
No, I don't think that's the way it works. I think you have to give them a tattoo. like no matter what.
You
Second
can do the
question
pixel
is,
one.
what's that?
Yeah, I could
I see
probably
you can
paint them
pixel
a pixel piece.
There you go, and just have another tattoo artist put it on them.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, that would work. And then how have you avoided Nintendo's Sauron eye of cease and desist all these years, do you think?
Okay. So I get this question quite a bit, and the answer is going to be surprising to you. In my mind, Nintendo loves us.
Hey.
They absolutely love us. They don't just love us, they know we are necessary. We are so necessary to promote and join together Metroid fans.
Yeah.
And we've been doing it for so long that they see us as we're just going to turn the other cheek. So
yeah, and isn't it terrible that you know they're so litigious and have such a reputation
absolutely
that they could, you know,
Anytime.
they just can't get past themselves to give you guys the legitimacy that you
Right.
deserve.
Right.
Like, that's too bad.
Yep, at any time. So we only had one single run-in as far as the site's been up. One run-in all this time, and it was when AM2R came out.
Yeah.
So we hosted AM2R for 72 hours, I believe.
Oh,
And-
man. Oh, shit. I didn't even think about that. You did.
Yep. And then
I
Nintendo's
was
lawyers hit our
You
server.
bad person.
Yep. And people thought that when Nintendo's lawyers gave us the email, they thought that someone was faking it to, screw with us.
Yeah.
And they were like posing as the lawyer, but it was totally legit. And I got a voicemail from the lawyer, and we had to take down the file, and that was it.
Oh.
That's the only time that Nintendo has ever done anything to us in all this time. Otherwise, they don't. They're just like, do whatever. We're going to look
That's
the other
cool.
way.
That's good to hear. All right, and my one comment is that I just noticed this, you know, looking at your part of the screen on Skype, you have this Metroid kind of glow around you, this like green glow.
Oh,
so
my
you're
green
kind of
screen.
Metroid-y. How appropriate. All right, that's all I got.
Cool.
For me, it was so you'll laugh at me. I had two websites that I used to religiously stalk. One was called Lords of Pain. No, this is not a erotic site. It was a pro wrestling site, just kind of like your guys'.
Oh,
Especially, it's a bunch of people talking about rumor mills and stuff like that, like before internet, about different wrestling and things like that. But then I don't know. I was bored one night in my room in my nice, beautiful 56K in '99, and so I was wondering, maybe I was playing Metro 2, so I was like, I wonder if anyone has a map, like, or something that on there. I always wanted to know, and sure enough, I went onto your guys' site, and I was like, just scrolling around, just listening to people's comments and all that stuff, and I'm like, oh my god, they like the same stuff I do. And so I would just sit there religiously, like when I'm like just hanging out by myself really late at night, I would just sit there and scroll through it. My friend knows it because he used to get mad. He used to go over his computer all the time and sit there and scrolling. And he's like, why don't you just make out with those guys? Jeez. Like, just laughing and stuff. And I remember AM2R because I remember all the updates on there. And I would watch all the updates for it. Like, oh man, this is good. This is so hype. And we were hearing rumors about it. And then the demo came out. And I'm like, yes. So that's where I kind of stuck with it during that time. And then once it released on your site, that's the first thing I did. As soon as I heard the time went out, I downloaded it immediately because I was scared.
Nice.
I was like, I know that Nintendo's coming and they're not going to ruin years of time I've stalked this game not to play it.
Yeah.
And
well,
dude,
I'm so happy that I ended up going to Portland that one year that Wizard brought those copies. Like, that was serendipitous.
He showed off a bag before he left. And I told a bar, and I'm like, you're going there. I'm like, you need to find him immediately and get me a copy of that game. I don't care what I have to pay. Because Wizard's weird. He doesn't. So he's very like, because I got one of his games right here, his Ghostbusters.
Oh,
what
yeah.
he does is he goes, I'm making this. And after this, I'm not making any other ones, so don't ask. And don't ask like that you get, you dibs. The only two people I know that have dibs with him is Reggie and maybe his game store down there. That's the only two that have dibs. But that's the way he is. Just like, you don't get it too bad. You don't write claim fast enough, you don't get it.
First come,
And so
first
he
serve.
said he had 4. He said he had 4 Portland. And I told him, I was like, "You've got to find him immediately." Like,
yeah, I got 2 of them, one for Coffin, one for myself, which now I passed on to Ryan because it's way more appropriate that you have it.
I really appreciate you sending that to me.
Oh yeah, no problem. I'm happy to do it. And then Geske is another one that got one because he didn't know about it. I told him about it.
You would love the Doctor. The Doctor has like everything. He makes like schematics of like the best picture and sound that you can play with any game. It's insane.
He's very methodical about his game collection.
Super tedious.
Yeah, I could tell you all about AM2R. That would be an entire episode, but we'll have to skip that for now.
No worries.
So I have a question with it. What's your favorite part of doing on the website? Like, is it just like talking with people? Is it just, getting the news out for people? What is your like overall goals for the website?
Yeah, great question. So, as I mentioned earlier, like originally it was just like I was doing very little graphic design stuff for it, right? I was adding banners to the site. And then later on, I decided that the whole website needed an overhaul. So I worked with a web designer at the time and basically did all the graphical work of the existing website. And that was one of the most satisfying things that I ever did for the whole website was overhaul it. Unfortunately, it's not complete. I've been kind of taking my time. There's just so much content out there, and we're not a wiki. We don't have community coming in there and doing all the work and sharing all the work.
Yeah.
It's basically just me. So that has been one of the most satisfying parts of the job is making sure that we have archival content, because a lot of that stuff you can't find anywhere else other than our site. Really old images and content, especially with our old stuff like the Metroid 1 Secret Worlds and the explanation of where Justin Bailey came from and all that stuff are kind of our legacy content that wouldn't exist without us. And people to this day are making YouTube videos on that stuff and, explaining this old Metroid history to people for the new generation. So I will say that right there is probably one of the most satisfying parts of being able to work on this website is allowing people to use us as a resource, as long as they, credit us and give us a little nod at the end in the credits. I'm happy. They can use all of our resources as they want. So that's a big part of it for me and keeps my passion fueled. For sure.
Well, as a fellow video game historian, I know just how important it is to get that information into the hands of everybody. So I've got all the respect in the world to you and everything that you've done for Metroid and that community. Seriously.
Yeah. I appreciate
Sure.
that.
You've definitely saved me a lot of time, especially deployments and all those things like that, and then sitting on there for a few hours and just enjoying the forums and everything on there. I'm a big history nut with Metroid. I'm obsessed with it. The way I do things, and it's really bad. Like once I'm passionate about something, I just kind of stick to it all the time. So when you told me you ran the database, I was like, oh my god. I told Mara, I was like, he runs the website.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm so happy I can help people in that way, especially when sometimes wikis. I mean, you guys are familiar with wikis, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes the writing on wikis is not quite up to snuff or not quite accurate.
It's inconsistent because it's not coming from any one person, so the styles are wildly different.
Exactly. And there's some kind of red tape sometimes, like when you want to make a change and then someone's like, no, that's not really what it should say. And then they revert your changes and you're like, screw this. Okay, I'm going to move on. Yeah. And then the other thing of the social media aspect of it has been very satisfying for me. I'm actually trying to cut back personally because it does take so much of my personal time to handle all these basically 3 social media accounts at the same time. So I've been kind of trying to distance myself. And I might not post as much, but I do have a few staff members that are, still helping me out every now and then on the site. Yeah, the social media aspect, especially when there's new products like the new Emmy Figma that's coming out.
So
like,
jealous.
I'm
I tried to
so
get one.
hyped for that. Yeah.
I tried to get one and they sold out like immediately. Amazon
Uh.
popped one up and they were gone. And I also wanted they did another one of the one where he's coming down the elevator thing, the little blue elevator thing. They had him. I wanted to put it on my wall right there, and I was so mad. It's like $100. I was like, I don't even care. I would throw it down immediately.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I got it the moment it was released. I have to.
And I hope they do more when they come out so I can grab one.
Yeah. Those days, they're fortunately that's actually one of the things. I mean, it's sad that Metroid's niche, as I mentioned earlier, but on the good side of that, those days don't happen often. So
Yes.
like I can use my spare time for that, and I can like say, oh my God, holy shit, they just dropped the trailer for Metroid Dread. Everyone's losing their minds right now. And I can, write on the website and make posts about that. But that's once in a blue moon.
As opposed to if you were running the Kirby database, you'd be writing about it every day.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of any other good questions on there. What's the future for the database? What is your overall, future vision of it?
That's also another good question. I'm not going to be able to fully answer that question just because I think right now it's currently in an unfinished state. It might always be in an unfinished state. Mm-hmm. I do want to add a few more things. Like I'm actually working on something right now where people can upload their own tattoos to the website. So we've always had this, it was called the Fan for Life article that was a compilation of people's Metroid tattoos. But I actually wanted to take it one step further and kind of take the work off of my hands and just give it to the community. So pretty soon we're going to be able to allow people to just upload their Metroid tattoos, and we'll have a huge database of awesome Metroid tattoos. So
very cool.
I'm really excited for that. As far as like the future goes, I don't know when, but yes, there probably is going to be a time where I'm going to step away from the site for good.
Once you give that tattoo to somebody.
Yeah, right. I'll have to find someone I could like crappily tattoo on.
What you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Demon's Crest, or was it Demon Knight? Sorry, movie Demon Knight, where the dudes have tattoos on their hands and they keep passing along to a person, and then they get the tattoos on their hand and stuff. So you got like a Demon Knight thing going on.
Or it could be an X,
Yes.
Oh.
The X parasite.
Same parasite.
Right.
Right on the hand.
Yeah. I think my staff members, they probably don't want to take it over. Like they have very very busy schedules basically. Yeah. So they're not as much into it as I am, but at some point, I'm going to have to move on with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You could give it to Ibarra, and then he could turn it into a Castlevania one and watch all the revolt happen.
Well, wait, Ibarra, you've heard of Castlevania Dungeon, right?
Of course, yeah.
By Kurt Kalata?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I know some of the main people on those. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. I've been in contact with them. That's one of our
sister sites.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you go to that website, like I don't know if it's still there, but back in the day, it says the Metroid Database was the main inspiration for that website.
Nice. No,
yeah.
I never saw that, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah. Kurt's a great guy. He's made a lot of awesome books.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to collaborate with him. Definitely.
Yeah, he's written a Metroid book. It's a Metroid Kid Icarus book. That's a bunch of reviews of like the entire series. It's great.
Very cool. Yeah, there's oh gosh, I can't remember the guy's name, but there's a guy that goes by the name of Sid. I don't know if you've ever met him before. Sid Fi. He's got one of the biggest Castlevania collections. So like the biggest Castlevania collection on Castlevania Dungeon is his. Like that's his collection. And he took a bunch of pictures that are going to be in my Castlevania Collector's Guide. So
Nice.
yeah, I've been talking to those guys for years.
Yeah, and we used to be on Classic Gaming. You guys, do you remember Classic Gaming?
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. So our old URL was mdb.classicgaming.com,
Gotcha.
right?
Yep.
And then we got bought by GameSpy, and then GameSpy got bought by IGN.
Yeah.
So at that point, when IGN purchased GameSpy, all these fan sites were basically given the big middle finger, and we had to tend to our own devices. That was it. So
Wow.
IGN kicked everyone to the curb. And at that time, when we were like, we don't know what to do. So fortunately, someone was able to pick us up and give us free hosting. And we've had free hosting ever since.
Good.
That's awesome.
I'm very, very, very thankful to that guy. I've known him for many, many years, and he's given us free hosting. Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's awesome.
And I hope you keep it alive, and I hope you get it to your vision. I really do.
Thank you, man.
It's gave me a lot of enjoyment over the years. All right, next topic. Ryan, you're going to help me out with this one too.
Okay.
We're going to be doing our retrospectives. We each give each other a game each week to play and give us our review on. And I'm going to start off first with Abara trolling me with Silent Scope Complete on the Xbox without gun. I had a controller for this thing. Let me just explain to you, sir, that I wanted nothing more than to punch you in the back of the head with this thing. I swear to God, so mad. So with the controller, I was joking around. It's like I imagine you looking through a peephole in your door and you're just trying to find someone to snipe from. That's how it was. Like on the original Silent Scope, you can like pull the gun down, you can look, and then you can pull it back up and target. This one, I'm just basically I'm doing this, looking around for a freaking dude. And then what would happen is, which makes me mad, as soon as I get the sight on them, then they just move a little bit to the left or they move a little bit to the right. There's one with the car where I had it locked, and then the car just randomly moved and made me shoot like the president's daughter. And I'm like, what the hell is going on?
My favorite one's the football stage.
Yeah, when that guy's running and I can't catch him. Oh,
yeah,
so
running
mad.
down the football field and you have to shoot him in the head.
And then what's even funnier is that they have other football characters chasing him, trying to stop him.
Yeah.
So I was just wailing on these dudes, these football guys, all over the stadium. I was so mad. I took a picture of me putting the initials, and I just put ass in it. And I'm like, this is what that game's rating's gonna be. Absolutely terrible out the gun. I do want to try it with the gun sometime if I ever find one. But man, the controller sucked so bad. All light gun games suck with controllers. I hate to say it, just does. Resident Evil, Outbreak, or whatever that one is that they came out with, Dead Aim or whatever it is. That's terrible too. I bought the Japanese version at MGC because I couldn't stand using the controller. And then like the other one I laughed at, Revolution X. Of all the light gun games ever made, you're gonna make it into a controller game on the PlayStation? So stupid.
It was on the SNES too.
No, that doesn't work. That just doesn't work.
No,
Does
it was
not
terrible.
work.
Well, let alone Aerosmith being a video game. That just doesn't work in and of itself.
Hey, they were rebelling against music, sir.
Don't get me started on Aerosmith.
Yeah, but Aerosmith Guitar Hero is pretty good, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, it works.
Oh, I'm sure it works. But who would want to play it?
Man,
Aerosmith
find
fans?
out all kinds of stuff about you. You don't like
Sadistic.
Aerosmith? You don't like Lords of Shadow?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Let me, real quick. I hate Aerosmith and I hate Red Hot Chili Peppers. It wasn't always the case. It wasn't always the case. Let me explain.
Needles from Back to the Future? How dare you?
I was on a deployment, and like I would go to the gym at Opstown over in Qatar.
Yep, I know where it is.
I would go to the gym, and like I'd be sitting there running on the treadmill, and somebody had Best of Aerosmith or Best of Red Hot Chili Peppers, like just on a fucking loop. And I can't count how many times I would be running on the treadmill and freaking Lovin' an Elevator came on. It's impossible to run to without raging. So like I was the only person in the Opstown gym at one point, and I stop my run, I go over to the boombox, I take out the CD and I snap it in half and put it on the
God.
yeah, for both of those CDs. I fucking hate both those bands ever since.
Wow.
So you're saying that if your hell, if you had to go to hell, would basically be Aerosmith on loop playing Lords of Shadow.
Yeah, it'd be like the seventh circle of hell. Yes.
I think Tristan is telling us that he has RHCP PTSD.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Yes, I do. Oh gosh.
So his game this last week was X-Men for the NES. Since I had that.
Oh God, terrible game. Oh God.
I got it confused with the side scrollers. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. It's not a side scroller.
No.
It's more like a top-down shoot 'em up.
Uh-huh,
It's so bad.
Yeah.
Oh
It's
man,
terrible.
it's got
LJ
so many like
Finest.
unforgivable sins. There's no life bar.
Mm.
There's no like sense of progression. There's horrible music, bad controls, stupid ass freaking. Oh yeah, you're just gonna like attack me with these red and blue balls all freaking stage. That's real inventive. It's bad. It was a bad game.
Yeah,
all I
so
gotta say.
I always joke around because I thought like someone from LGN was like talking to their kids and was like, "Hey, do you want to make an X-Men game? You like
Yeah.
X-Men, right?"
Yeah.
And just like handed it to them. It's like, yeah,
Oh.
just have fun.
Well, yeah,
And
and there's
it's
tons
so
of
bad.
misspellings too. There's
Oh,
misspellings
God.
everywhere. Like Storm, they call her Aurora.
Oh no. Yeah,
It's terrible.
you can't even tell like what you are playing because it's
No.
top down, right? Like the graphics are
chaotic.
so bad that you have to really use your imagination to find out what's going on.
Well, yeah, and then you just like shoot enemies until like a little pig in a blanket like comes down, and then you eat that and you're invincible.
I never heard it that way. That's great.
It looks like a pig in a blanket. I don't know what that power up is, but that fucking hot dog is delicious enough to make you invincible, apparently.
All right,
Yeah.
this week's Ryan. I know that you're a big fan of this series, and what's going to happen is I'm going to show the game, and you're going to pick which game he's going to play.
Oh no.
Okay.
So I picked the Mega Man X collection 1 and
Okay.
2,
Mm.
and so I'm going to
like
let
it.
Ryan pick a random, all the way through the whole series, which one he's going to play.
So you're saying that's like X1
So-
through 8 or X8 or
Yeah,
X7?
X through X8.
Okay. X4.
Okay.
Totally X4. Yeah.
Cool.
Don't play X6 and 7. Don't play those.
You don't want those.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
play X4 on the Saturn then.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good choice. No,
Yep.
totally play X4.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. All right. My choice.
then.
I picked a fun one too. It's not gonna be like trolly like last time. Although you're gonna find it trolly because you're probably gonna be cussing me out when you're playing it. But it's my favorite game in this series. Tetris Plus.
I have that. I have that on my Poly
I know.
Mega.
And I want you to beat it, beat the fourth temple.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can do that. Or
I
maybe
love
can do it
that
if you're
game.
not
I
trolling me.
love that game. Tetris Plus doesn't get any respect. Tetris Plus 2 never got an official release outside of a flashback console.
It's crazy.
It's an arcade game. It's an amazing arcade game, which I need to buy that board and put it in my one of my arcade cabinets. But yeah, the only official U.S. release of Tetris Plus 2 was on a flashback console.
Wow.
It's
Mhm.
crazy. Yeah, I also like the one with the PSVR too. That one's pretty insane as well.
Oh yeah, Tetris Effect.
Tetris Effect. Yeah.
Insane.
Tetris Effect's so good.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yep. I will say my all-time favorite Tetris game is the new Tetris on N64.
The new Tetris is really good. I
Yeah,
played
really
the
good.
crap out of
Absolutely
that
love
one.
that game. I
Yes.
actually I've made some people cry playing that game against them in multiplayer because I was like the king of that game back in the day.
Ryan, have you ever played Tetris the Grandmaster?
Oh yeah.
Or-
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Every time I play that game, it's usually with someone that is like insane at it and they just destroy me.
Uh-huh.
And it's usually at MagFest too when that occurs.
You and I are going to have to play Tetris.
Oh
at
yeah,
some point.
for sure.
Don't
Yeah.
do it, Ryan. Don't
What?
do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do
I
it.
am ready for the challenge. I
Don't
think
do
we
it.
talked about this.
So we're playing
I'm
Tetris.
really good though. I'm really good.
Let me
Good.
tell you,
I'm glad
I
to hear
watched
it.
him-
I haven't
watched him
met many
play-
people that are really good.
I watched him play Tetris Effect, and I felt like I thought I was really good at Tetris, and then he made me feel like I was a second grader compared to his high school diploma.
Yeah.
I was watching him go, and I was like, I don't even want to play this anymore. I don't want to play nothing of this. He was doing crazy stuff, and I was like, I don't understand this. How do you do this? I don't get it.
Well, I play PPT. Do you play PPT at all?
No, I don't know what PPT is.
Puyo Puyo Tetris.
Oh, I hate Puyo Puyo. Hate
Oh.
it.
Yeah, but you
Mr.
don't
Bean
have
Machine.
to do. You don't have to play Puyo Puyo.
I understand that.
Okay.
I think you
Yeah.
guys should play both sides. I feel like you should play a version that Amaro likes and a version that you like.
Yeah. Well, there's a Tetris Party is actually a pretty good version of
Yeah.
Tetris that you can play multiplayer in.
Have you ever played like Tetris DS online?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude, I would go back and forth like,
that
oh
game.
my gosh, so competitive. It was.
Oh,
so
I
much
know.
fun.
And they always had a Japanese name, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The Japanese people would come in and just destroy
Mop the
you.
floor. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. It was demoralizing.
Yeah.
They were doing it. They were doing it in Tetris 99 too on the Switch.
Oh yeah.
They come in and just wreck dudes,
Mhm.
and
Yep.
then also they were friends. And what they would do religiously is that they would target one person immediately and just knock them out, and then they would just basically keep moving from
Yeah.
row to row, knocking
Oh.
people out. It's crazy,
Yeah. They're just brutal over there.
brutal.
Yeah. Dude, I'm so excited. You're a big Tetris fan. I
Huge.
definitely want to play you. We need to just schedule a time together.
Yeah, I'm actually a Tetris collector too. I mean, I've got like all
Oh.
these Japanese ones like Card Captor Sakura Tetris and all the ones on Super Famicom, and yeah, it's
Nice,
tons
dude.
of fun.
And
I'm
you
trying
saw
to
the
find a
movie,
few
right?
ones.
You saw the
No, I
movie?
haven't seen the movie yet.
Oh.
Oh, fun fact. My sister-in-law, my brother's wife, went to school with Alexei Pajitnov's son.
Whoa.
Was in her class
Wow.
Yeah.
That's random.
up in Seattle.
That's crazy.
Well, the movie's great. You should definitely watch it.
Yeah, I need to watch it. I just always forget that it even exists.
I watched the documentary on it, how they snuck them into Russia and stuff, which was like
Yeah,
wild.
that's amazing. That's amazing.
Especially during the Cold War era. That's pretty wild. Like he
Mhm.
even got through that place.
Right.
And then they're like all mafia, just like the old school, KGB and all them out there. And I bet Russia made so much money off that game. So much money.
I know. And I think the Hank Rogers daughter is the one that runs. She's like the president of the Tetris company.
Yeah, I think
So-
you're right.
Yeah.
We're gonna be doing corrections, and so we usually do corrections just in case that we, either do something wrong, say something wrong. This is our way to make amends on it. So, you got any corrections this week, Amara?
I only had one that I remember from last week. We were talking about how some of these classic consoles like the PlayStation and the N64 are coming up on an anniversary. I said 20th anniversary. I meant 30th anniversary.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
those 90 kids
Coming
better
up
run.
on the 30th anniversary of these, like Sega Saturn, Sony PlayStation, N64, like all of these consoles that these kids are now adults with money are going to be collecting and driving the prices up of.
It's already through the roof already. You saw the GameCube drop that Ben just had.
Mm-hmm.
There was so many expensive games in there.
Yeah.
So many expensive games. I also like I love how Nintendo 64 almost got me until I turned right and saw Tekken, and then I just basically just went towards the PlayStation.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Ryan, for joining us on MAGDX this
Yeah,
week. You're
thank
always
you.
welcome to come back on. I would love to pick your brain on
Appreciate
any Metroid game. I appreciate that we were able to work this out tonight.
Yeah,
Do you have
likewise.
anything
I
you
had a
want to
great
plug?
time. I mean, of course I have things to plug, right? So, obviously our website, metroiddatabase.com, no hyphen. We used to have a hyphen, but we got rid of the hyphen. So it's just metroiddatabase.com, all one word. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, which is now called X, at Metroid Database. So that's easy to remember. As far as my personal life goes, I'm an artist, as you guys already know. I do pixel art. I make paintings, acrylic paintings with video game sprites, and you can find me on there. I mostly focus on Instagram for that, at Pixel Art Paintings, and then you can also find at pixelartpaintings.com.
Yeah,
So,
awesome.
yeah, you can
Yeah,
find
and
me there.
we've both Coffin and I have seen his work. It's incredible.
Amazing.
I've drooled over some stuff, and I actually we need to talk offline about some commissions that I have in mind.
All right, I'd love to
Yeah.
hear it.
I'm also I wish I would have got that Metal Gear Solid 2 PlayStation that you did. I should have got it. After we left, I was like, I told him in the car, I was like, oh, I should have got it.
Yeah.
You got any, Amara, got anything to plug, sir?
Of course, I've got my book that's final hours on Kickstarter. So if you haven't, I already said that this is your one and only chance to get a discount on the books. If you get all 4 of them, well, actually, if you get 2, 3, or 4, you get a discount on the books. But make sure to check that out. If you're a collector, hardcore or casual, there's something for you in there. And finally, I again want to thank Ryan for coming on. You were an awesome guest. You didn't disappoint. We knew that you were going to have some interesting stuff to talk about, Metroid and otherwise.
Yeah, my pleasure, man.
Super talented guy. Like, we hit it off as soon as we met him. So, you can, with certain gamers and certain people in this community, you can tell when they have the passion, and you've got the passion for it. So really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much. It was really great talking to you. I had a great time.
Absolutely. You can follow me on GI Gamer 1981 on Facebook and Instagram. I always do small reels and things like that. I just did my feedback on the, like we're talking about MK1 beta. I also did today showing off the M. Bison Ralph Julia honor painting or that we did, that Amara hooked me up with. And then also about the shenanigans with the fake controllers and my, I thought, sealed box of controllers. I was hoping I was going to give Amara like a brand new controller, make it like, I was like, cool, we both each get one, brand new NES controller. But they're going to go into the what we call the death bin of Nintendo controllers I have. So
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming on. Like I said before, you're always welcome here. I
Great.
appreciate you giving us your time, your schedule to join us. And remember, guys, to COP, collect, open, and play your games. Don't sit there and act like they're stocks. You can't enjoy them if they're sitting in a big thing of plastic. You see behind bar, see, look, you can't even play none of those games.
Dude, I 100% agree with you on that advice. Oh my God, I wish I could shout that to the heavens. I absolutely love you saying that, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
Open. I don't keep anything sealed.
Yeah,
Nothing
that is
sealed.
awesome advice to give. Games are meant to be played. That's what I say. Yeah.
We'll see you guys next season. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a good night.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.